Hey, howdy, hey, everybody. I am Judd, the CEO of Mavis and co-founder of Ecom Launch Lab. I'm here with Sarah, who is also a co-founder and admin at Ecom Launch Lab. And we are going to talk about one of the most impactful things you can do to make your ads more effective starting today.
Yeah, so we are going to talk about our avatar today. And no, I'm not talking about the airbender or the blue people.
Both excellent pieces of media.
That's true. That's true. So your avatar, basically, who is your customer? Who is your ideal customer? Who do you want to buy your stuff from you? That is what your avatar means. And I think avatar is actually a great way to think about it. Actually, now that I'm thinking about the blue people, it's like you're kind of putting yourself in their situation and like imagining how they feel, what their problems are, like what frame of mind are they in. That's like, that is going to help you sell your stuff so much easier.
That was beautiful. That was like perfect. I think what's important to remember is that if you are trying to run a business, there are infinite different options you have to optimize that business. And there is a flood of information of what you could do, right? And you're probably thinking, well, if I want to make more money and increase my revenue for my ads, I got to go and figure out the ideal perfect ad settings, or I got to make the perfect images, right? And those are important, but you will get disproportionate returns on your effort if you take time to understand your audience. That's why we will continue to hammer that point home again and again and again, right? If you do not understand the person you're serving or selling to, then it's going to be really difficult to sell your product. So kind of what Sarah was getting at there with this incredible avatar analogy, right? If you're putting yourself in the shoes of the person you're trying to sell to understand them, yeah, get to know their background, get to know, I mean, this is a blanket statement word, but get to know their culture, right? Get to know what is important to them. How do they behave? How do they think? What's important to them? And if you can understand all of that, selling your product or service is going to become very, very easy.
Because then you position yourself perfectly as someone who listens and someone who understands them. Like if you think about, like, I use this all the time, but in parenting, Judd and I are married and we have 2 little boys, and we talk about parenting all the time. So I think about the controlling parent versus the parent who is just supportive and there for you. They have a very different approach, and one who is like, hey, you should do this, or you should buy my stuff, right? Like that doesn't come across very well. Kids who grow up in those kind of households don't tend to like their parents when they grow up, right? So like, hey, you should do this. You're never good enough because you need this, you know? That is a marketing tactic, and that has worked well in the past, I guess. But now people want that really understanding, like you come home from school and your mom is just sitting there waiting for you to just tell her about your day, and you just vomit, you know, like, cause she's just there ready to listen, you know, and she doesn't say anything. She just says, I'm proud of you. Like, keep doing what you're doing. And she helps with you when you need help, but she's just there for you and supports you. And you can tell she listens, right? And kids who grow up in homes like that, I honestly don't know very many, unfortunately, but you can tell though, like the kids that believe in themselves because they were listened to as a child. And that's honestly like how I think of how you want to portray yourself to your customers or to your avatar, is like, I am here to listen. I understand you. And when I ask you for something, or when I tell you to do something, you're going to do it. Because, I mean, we can talk about that marketing psychology thing of reciprocity. But when you give something, your customers are they don't want to give you something back. So if you show them, I'm giving you validation, I'm giving you the opportunity to be listened to, that goes a long way. That really is valuable. to me. I mean, because who doesn't like to be listened to?
It's amazing to think the difference that it makes between a business or a marketer who's trying to just tell their audience, buy this, buy this, buy this, shove it down their throat. People read right through that immediately. And if you're talking marketing psychology, yes, that has worked in the past, right? There have been many marketing campaigns that are driven solely on urgency and fear and negative emotion, and they have a place, right? But the most powerful and effective marketing comes from that reciprocity that you talked about, like understanding your audience, understanding what they feel, and being able to cater your product, service, and messaging to them in that way. So we're going to go into the 7 steps that you can put in practice today to better understand your audience and make more money while providing more value to them. Think of this as your 7-step field guide to being the best blue person avatar you possibly can, understanding your audience's culture, background, and everything. With that in mind, this is the 7-step framework that you can put in practice to become a blue person avatar master. First step is critical to understand who they are. Walk us through that, Sarah. What does it mean to understand just at a high level who your audience is?
So I think this is what everyone thinks of when they think of who is my customer. I am selling water bottles, right? So you're like, okay, well, what's the age demographic, right? Like, okay, well, maybe this age to this age, right? And then the next one is gender. And then you think about like what situation they're in. Like, yeah, athletic. They are worried about being hydrated because they're busy. That's kind of what you think of, like, who is your customer? You think of age demographic. Why do they want to be hydrated? Like that really surface level, like, oh, they're busy, they're athletes, all that kind of stuff. That's very surface level. But usually that's where people stop.
Age, location, language, like occupation, some of those things that are important demographic characteristics, but Sarah nailed it on the head. The biggest problem is that most advertisers or business owners stop there. Mm-hmm. And when they think, okay, I have to understand my audience, they'll list out like those characteristics, right? For us at Ecom Launch Lab, we're actually launching a software product called Mavis in April that is geared towards making online ads easy for small business owners, right? All of this information is great, but we're building the software that actually helps them implement all of this with a couple of clicks of a button so they can launch ad campaigns in under 10 minutes. Very, very cool. We're super stoked about it. But for us at Mavis, if we were going to go through this first step, we would just say, basically, we are targeting online business owners, likely those running an e-commerce store. They're typically one individual running the business. At most, they probably have one person and a buddy, maybe a team of up to 3 max. So kind of a small operation, aged 20 to probably 35 or 40 at most, right? So we can go through some of those checkpoints, US based, and that would define like our avatar, who they are on the surface. And that's great. That's cool. But if we were to stop there, we'd be missing the point completely. And it would be really hard for us to cater our product or service or our ads and messaging to them. But most business owners and most advertisers will stop there and say, okay, if I'm selling water bottles, I'm targeting an athletic, age 20 to 30 years old. They might list off a couple of other characteristics they share in common, but then leaving it at that doesn't tell you that much about the person. Because millions of people will fit that demographic who actually would not at all be interested in your product, and it would not provide any value to them whatsoever. So yes, take time to look through step 1, who your avatar is on the surface, answer some of those questions, but then move on really quickly to step 2, which talks about their pains. What are their core pains?
Yeah. This is arguably, man, I'm going to say this about every step. Like, this is arguably the most important step in the whole thing. But like this, I really think this one is. But for pains, like what is frustrating them? Why are they even looking for a solution in the first place? So with a water bottle, I mean, I'll just use my water bottle. I bought a half-gallon water bottle because I was trying to like get in a full gallon of water every day, and I didn't have time to fill up my water bottle like 8 times. So I wanted a water bottle that could hold half of my daily water, right? So I would only have to refill my water bottle once the whole day. And that was frustrating. That was my pain, even though it is kind of dumb, but that drove my decision to buy the water bottle that I did. Was I hate refilling my water bottle. So I need a big one.
Inconvenience.
Yeah, inconvenience. And I didn't drink very much water before I had this water bottle because I had to fill it up a lot, So anyway, but that was my pain that I'm looking over here because it's right here. That was the pain that I was experiencing. I actually ended up buying 2, so I wouldn't even have to refill it during the day.
Yeah, if somebody were to understand that pain that you had with the water bottle, they could tailor their messaging around, I have a half-gallon water bottle. What is it that people who buy a half-gallon water bottle are trying to solve? What job is it filling in their life? What are the pains that are present in their life that make this a compelling product to them? And don't be afraid to take a lot of time on this step and really try to understand the pain. It's tempting to just rattle off a couple of surface level things like, oh, water bottles, I want to be hydrated.
Yeah, nobody says that.
Nobody says that.
Stop saying that. Nobody wants to be hydrated. Are you kidding me? I mean, yeah, I do, but that's not why I bought my water bottle, if that makes sense.
There is a deeper and more specific reason why Sarah bought that water bottle versus another one. It filled a job in her life better than others because it was positioned as a solution to a specific problem. So take the time to go through those pains. We've talked about this in a previous podcast, but ideally you are your audience, or you were your audience previously. You are best positioned to serve the person you are or once were. So if you have once struggled with the same pains that your audience experiences, this step will be easier. Like, you will know what's annoying. You'll know the things that you get frustrated about because you've been there, or you have friends or close people in your circle that are in that situation. The deeper understanding you have, the longer time you've spent shouldering that pain, the easier it's going to be to define it. Now, if you're trying to solve a problem that you're not intimately familiar with, or that somebody else has that you don't really understand, first of all, I'd suggest you probably try to solve a different pain. You want to solve something you can understand from your own experience, mostly because you're best positioned to do that, and it's way easier. In lieu of that, though, what are some other ways you can get a deeper understanding of that pain point? Like, in our business, we've seen things like tools like Reddit. Guys, people will vent on Reddit. They will vent on product reviews.
Yeah.
Like, go to places like that. If you can, and your product or niche allows it, get in front of these people face to face. Don't be afraid of face to face interaction. Like, find out where they hang out, interview them, right? If you're solving a problem for moms, go to Target, stand outside Target, interview moms coming out of Target, right? Like, find where they hang out. Don't interview moms as they're going into Target, or they will report you and it will not end well, but interview them as they're coming out, right? Find places that your audience is hanging out, get in front of them, whether that's in person, whether that's online in like Reddit or reviews, and find everything you can. Even if it sounds like it's just a random complaint from someone, odds are other people have that same complaint. Try to find what comes up most frequently, list it out, compare it to your own experience, and just get really nitpicky on this list of what is frustrating or paining your audience.
Yeah. I think that list should be somewhat extensive. Like, it should be more than 3 bullet points.
Yep.
It should be like 10 bullet points of
At least.
what pains are they looking for? But the next step, so step number 3 is their core desire. What do they want most? And I mean, you can also word this as a dream outcome. Like, what are they looking for? What do they want to happen? So we were just talking about with the water bottle, their core desire, people are not like staying awake wake at night because they're like, I need to be hydrated, right? Nobody wants that, you know?
Nerd.
But people will stay. I mean, I'm a nerd and I stayed awake at night thinking, oh, I wish I didn't have to fill up my water bottle so much, you know? Like, I just need like a giant water bottle. That is my pain that I want solved. And honestly, that pain is not a very big pain. So I'm not going to go spend $1,000 on a water bottle, but I will spend 25 or 30, you know, like I just, yeah, it depends on what size of pain you're solving as well. But that's totally a different thing. But yeah, let's talk about core desire. Like, my core desire with buying my half-gallon water bottle was, how do I keep my hydrating goal going without having to get up and refill my water bottle? Because it's super inconvenient. So I really want to keep doing what I'm doing and have enough water for most of the day, for like half the day.
As a add-on to that, I would venture to say that most people don't go deep enough on this step either, right? Go and list out the pain and list out the dream outcome or the core desire. Find out why those pains are pains for them. And then honestly, guys, keep asking why. Go levels deeper. If you can identify, Sarah wants a water bottle that she only has to fill up once. Okay, why does Sarah want to fill up that water bottle once? And there's a couple of answers, right? There's the time element, that it takes too much time, that she has to think about it outside of her everyday struggles and concerns, right? She doesn't want to take time out of, as a mom, taking care of her kids, to go and fill up her water bottle. It would be so much more convenient if her water bottle still had water in it. Like, the pain of reaching for a water bottle and seeing that it's empty and realizing, man, if I want to get a drink, I have to go and fill it back up. It seems like a stupid little pain, but it was enough of a pain that Sarah went out and bought a product to solve that pain. So, I mean, it's important to Sarah going levels deeper of why it's important. Could it be that she doesn't want to take time away from her kids because her kids are really, really important to her and she wants to maintain a strong relationship with them? The deeper you get on why that pain is actually important to your audience, the closer you get to the emotional reason behind it. This is what I want to hammer, is that there is a logical reason why people do things. That is level number 1. In the past, we've referred to this as motivation levels. That you have 3 different levels of motivation typically, right? There's the motivation level number 1, which is just surface level. I want to buy a water bottle. That's awesome. Great. Motivation level 2 has to do with the logical reason why Sarah wants to buy a water bottle. Because she wants to be hydrated would be logical reason number 2. And if you stopped there, you would be missing the whole point. Why? Because at that point, any water bottle could technically serve Sarah's need if it was really only just to be hydrated. But because her actual need went deeper, and it was, I'm sick of filling up my small water bottle multiple times a day. Instead, I value the time and convenience of having a large half-gallon water bottle that I only have to fill up twice. Now you get down to the reason behind the logical reason, which tells you a little bit more niche focused what type of product or what type of messaging or approach she is going to resonate best with. So at this point, as you're talking about core desire and core pains, so step 2 and 3, think about what's important to them and then go into those 3 motivation levels. What are they trying to do? Why is that important to them logically? And then why is that actually important to them emotionally? And if you can get any deeper on those motivation levels, keep asking why. You've got a golden understanding of your audience. But again, most advertisers and business owners will stop at either that level 1, I want to buy a water bottle, so I will sell you a water bottle, Cool. Again, you're missing the point and you're missing the opportunity to serve your customer in a very highly valuable way by hammering into that level 3 motivator of the emotional reason why they want this thing.
So that brings us into step number 4. So after you know why they want the thing that they want, then what you need to help them with is the challenges that are standing between where they are now and where they want to be. So, and why they can't bridge that gap without your product. So in the case of the water bottle, I wanted to only fill my water bottle up like 1 time a day. Great. The challenges of me getting there, I mean, I just needed to buy a water bottle. I needed a water bottle big enough that would warrant half a gallon of water in 1 jug, right? So, I mean, I didn't have that available, and I didn't really think it existed in a store. So I didn't even try looking at a store. I went directly online. And what was stopping me from doing it is just being introduced, honestly. So as soon as I looked one up, I mean, there were a few options and there were a few things about this one that I liked better than other ones, and we could talk about features or whatever, but I really just needed somebody to get something in front of me. But I mean, a lot of products have more complicated issues than that.
I mean, at the end of the day, this also should be a large in-depth list of everything that's preventing your customer from achieving their core desire or dream outcome. Mm. So look at the dream outcome and list out every single thing that is preventing them from accomplishing that. Now, these usually fall into certain categories, meaning time, money, convenience, knowledge, social limitations, whatever it is. There's a lot of different factors that play into it, but go through and list out everything that is preventing them from accomplishing that, right? So in Sarah's case, the biggest issue she had was that she just didn't know where to get a water bottle of that size, right? So if you understand that her biggest challenge is, I just don't know where to get one, that tells you if I can effectively advertise to Sarah and get my ads in front of her in a way that she will understand, which again, she went online to find her water bottles. She hangs out online. If you understand your avatar, you'll understand that's a place that they'll spend a lot of time. That tells you where to put your ads. That tells you where to put your marketing. But this step needs to be really in-depth. Go through and think of everything that's keeping them from accomplishing their core desire and dream outcome. List it out. Time, money, experience, knowledge, again, social pressures, all of those things play into not being able to accomplish.
Right. And then step number 5 is your unique value proposition. So that is how you solve that challenge or the pain that they have. So when we say unique value, it really doesn't have to be unique. It just has to speak to whoever you're talking to, honestly. Because when you're talking to somebody and it's somebody who is living a completely different way than you are, it's really hard to find common ground. So, I mean, in that case, if you're trying to sell to that person, it would be hard to sell to them because you're not speaking the same language, really. You don't really understand each other. But when you're proposing your solution, you have to speak their language, and it will sound unique because you do speak their language, and they will resonate with the language that you are using and the images that you use. I mean, this has to do with images and just the wording you use too.
I would define the unique value proposition as the package of value that you're offering your audience. So if you've done everything right up to this point, you understand the surface level characteristics of your audience, step 1. You understand their core pain. What is it that they're struggling with right now? You understand what their dream outcome or core desire is. So what are they trying to accomplish and why is that important to them? I mean, then beyond that, you understand what the challenges or roadblocks are that are getting in the way of them accomplishing that. Again, like I mentioned, that will tell you everything you need to know about packaging your offer or packaging your product. So again, in the water bottle case, we keep coming back to that as a just continuous example, but in Sarah's case, we understand that Sarah is a working mom. She's busy, right? We have age, all these demographic information here. The pain she experiences is wanting to stay hydrated, but reaching for an empty water bottle while she is living a busy life is a struggle for her. She wants to be hydrated, drinking all of the water she wants to drink without having to refill her water bottle a billion times every day. That's her core desire. And then the challenges are, she has a small water bottle right now. So she needs a bigger water bottle. She needs it to be presented to her in a convenient way that she can access. We understand all of those elements by understanding those steps from before. So as you go to present your unique value proposition or the offer value, like just the package of value you're offering to your audience, think about those elements and think about the ways that you could deliver your product or service to them in the way that's going to be perceived as most valuable, meaning that you understand their need. This means that as you go into your ads, which I'm going to actually hop into step 6 here in the process, that you start to write ads or you start to think about how you're going to present your product to your audience, start thinking about some of those pains and desires as you come up with your messaging. This means that if we were going to sell Sarah the water bottle, we're going to really hone in on the fact that it is massively convenient. Only fill up your water bottle once and then you're done.
Beautiful.
Nailed it, right? So we nail that with what is the pain? We're going to present our solution to Sarah as this convenient solution. Only fill up your water bottle once. Stay hydrated without the time commitment. Whatever it is that we're presenting it as, that value has to tie back to what we identified in the previous steps. So we're talking about messaging for ads. So as you are preparing to run ads to your product, this is important. And a lot of you watching this are going to be thinking about running ads, which is why you've joined Ecom Launch Lab or why you're watching this video. A couple of different things you can do here. I would just say it's important to think first of all about the hook that you're going to use with your ads. The hook is honestly the most important piece of copy as you're writing it. What is the first impression that you're giving your audience? The first 3 seconds has to catch their attention so that they stick around and they buy, they see the value, and they identify the pain in their own life. So I would take time during step 6 to identify the key messaging points that you can use in your ads to reflect some of the things that we've identified in the previous points, right? What are the ways that you can present your product in a way that shows the value in a really clear and concise way? So for our business, right, we're launching Mavis, the software that eliminates the learning curve to running ads for small businesses. We would make a list of hooks that we could use to hone in on the fact that our target audience struggles with the amount of time that it takes to run ads, or the lack of confidence they feel as they are getting ready to run ads. They want to make sure that they're confident that their ads are effective, that they're not wasting their money. So we would write a list of hooks. A couple of them that I have written down here is how online business owners go from spending hours setting up ads to launching campaigns that work in minutes. Very cool. Here's how even busy online business owners without time for tutorials are launching high-performing ads in minutes. Mavis eliminates hours of setup and endless tweaking. Just launch your ads and watch them work, right? Just listing off the things that you could present your product or service as a solution to the problems that you identified in the previous steps. So go through, make that list, come up with some of the taglines or headlines that you could present your product with that clearly and concisely convey the value of your product or service for your audience based on what you identified so far.
Let's say, just as a plug here, use ChatGPT. Don't ChatGPT is awesome to get you thinking, and ask it to kind of criticize the stuff you come up with, because it helps you think of things from different angles and stuff like that. Do not just say, write me hooks. So that's a good starting point, I guess. But AI hasn't figured out what emotions are quite yet. So
you have to give context.
So yeah, you got to give lots of context, but using ChatGPT can really help you with really all of this. Honestly, we would pump through every single one of these steps with ChatGPT and not rely on it, not just copy and paste, but let's help it It's great for just creative thinking and thinking about things that you never really thought about before, or wording things in a way that you haven't thought about. And maybe that resonate better than the way you could have put it. I'm just going to put a plug in for that. That's a big hack to really get in depth on some of these headlines and the words that you use with your ads.
ChatGPT is a superpower, and AI will only get better over the next couple of months. I keep using it. We'll probably do a deep dive video on this in the very near future of how we use ChatGPT to superpower ads.
Ooh, yeah.
But that is a good one. We'll table that for the next one. But guys, if you followed up to this point, you will understand your audience. You'll understand their pain. You'll understand what's important to them. You'll understand what's keeping them from accomplishing that. You will have a list of all of the different ways you can present your product or service to them in a way that is valuable. Step number 7, honestly, is just get out and do it. Get out and start creating. Because at the end of the day, you will learn so much more by just getting out and starting to make ads and having conversations with your audience, and honestly spending time and money failing. The only time you've actually failed is when you've stopped trying. So get out. Step 7 would be actually do all of this, right? Like, get out. It's not that hard. It will take a couple of hours if you do it right, but I promise you that it is an investment that is well worth it, because it will make it so much easier for you to actually sell your product or service if you understand who you're selling it to and how your product or service benefits them.
Yeah, I could not agree more. I think that, honestly, figuring out who we're actually selling to has just changed everything about every business that we've run. And honestly, we didn't know this about a lot of the businesses that we have started. Having this in mind has helped a lot to get traction a lot sooner. And just, yeah, it just makes selling so much easier because you're not convincing at all. It's just you're showing the person that you listen, you understand them, and you present a very clear solution to a specific problem. And they're like, bro, what? How did you know I needed this? And then they just buy it. You don't have to sell anymore. They just buy it. So, and I think that's the beauty of online ads too, is it's always the consumer's idea. And that's when you get great customers, is when it's their idea. And I think knowing who your avatar is really helps with people choosing to buy on their own. And they will be way better customers that way.
It is transformative for your business when you go from convincing to selling. And this is an important step in understanding who you're selling to and what's important to them, so that when you do present your solution, it's not a matter of you convincing them or even having the best sales skills. Like, you can be awful at selling and have a product that actually sells someone's, and it will be easy to sell. So guys, from us, like, get out there, go and follow these steps, go back through if you need to review. But I just really encourage you to make the time to understand your audience. We will continue to hammer this in our videos because it's so important. Everyone wants a golden ticket or an easy answer, like do these settings and this would be it, right? Like, this is the one thing. Doesn't matter what your settings are. It doesn't matter what your ad looks like. Guys, if you take the time to understand this, it will transform your ads and will make everything else that comes after so much easier. Guys, that's all we have for you. From the Ecom Launch Lab team, we are just so grateful you take the time to join us for this. If you have any other questions about this topic or others, or there are any other videos you want to see, please comment below. Let us know what you would like to hear, what you'd like us to talk about. If you want more help and one-on-one guidance, you want to join a community of other business owners that are going through the same thing you are, there's a link in the description for Ecom Launch Lab as our online community where we go over all of these topics together. We have weekly coaching calls. We have access to resources like ad templates and hook ideas. Everything you could need to get your ads up off the ground is all in that group. So if that is interesting to you, please click the link below and we will see you on the inside.
Yeah.